Howdy folks, I'm Brian and here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Will I Be a Jerk If I Sue My Mother? My family is in a trust. I have been getting money since I was small, when the trust was created by a relative. There are a handful of us who get payments every year. With those payments, I make middle-class salary. Every member gets a portion of the money, but the parents get the payments to manage for the minors. Since I was a kid when the money came, my mother was in charge of my money. She told me that she was saving most of it for me. She made it clear that I had to go to college and not to worry about the expenses because we had enough. She made bad financial decisions using my money at various times to pay her mortgages. She never saved a cent of the money for me. I got into a state college. The tuition wasn't cheap, but affordable with my income. My mother told me if I let her keep managing her money, she would pay my tuition and give me enough to pay rent. I had the option to take it, and she convinced me that it was better for me if she managed it. She gave me a few $1,000s for rent and expenses, and I trusted she was paying my tuition with the rest. For the first few years, my tuition was paid up, but instead of putting any excess money of my own money aside for me, she used the remainder of my money while still having her own share to pay her own mortgage bills and go on vacations, etc. I didn't finish in 4 years. I stayed in school for 6. She said this was fine. She said I could afford it. But she didn't have enough to cover her own expenses without my money, so she took out loans for my school fees. She told me she was taking them out in her name, but she secretly put my name on them instead of her own. She had access to enough money, my money, to pay my tuition bills, but chose to spend my money on her mortgage. Lost her house anyways, and she racked up close to $20,000 in student debt under my name. I never signed off on any of the loans. I don't even know who she took the loans through. I have never made a payment because this has been her loan. When I first found out the loan was in my name, I accused her of stealing my money to pay her own bills, and she promised she would pay me back by paying these loans off. She swore that she would pay them off. But 6 years later, my credit has $16,000 worth of debt still attached to me. I know the loan was for my school fees, but I didn't sign off on them, nor did I want them. If I had known I couldn't pay for school, I probably wouldn't have even gone. Well, now I can't even get a home loan because I have a really high debt ratio. I found out she's been making minimum payments, and recently deferred the loans, which my home loan officer said was a big problem because there are no recent payments on the loan account. I told my dad what she did, and he advised me to file a fraud claim against her, which is the last thing I want to do. My aunt in the trust advised me to do the same thing, to sue my own mother for the debt. I don't really want to, but she won't pay them off, and I feel like I have no option. Edited to add. I'm not even sure where to start the legal process. What would I do to try and sue? Edit 2. For those asking, no, she no longer has the authority over my funds. I took them into my own name during my last semester of college because I found out about the loans and felt I couldn't trust her with my money any longer. I just wish I had done it sooner and feel stupid for letting her manage them for me so long. Alright, OP. First off, I'm gonna have to say that don't feel bad or feel stupid for letting your mother manage your funds. You didn't expect her to try and cheat you or rob you of your own money. Like, you trusted her and you trusted that she would do the right thing. And she didn't. It's really unfortunate, and it's really a bad situation for you. And she's put you in a really awkward situation. And she probably realized that you would not sue her. And that's probably why she felt like this was a low-risk type of endeavor here. You really do need to probably put together a fraud claim on this, and it's going to be painful and it's going to be hard both for you and your mom, but really this is what she did to you, and it's impacting your life as it is right now. You know, $16,000 is still quite a bit of money, and it's going to be something that follows you around. It really seems like your mother has made some very, very poor financial decisions, and it seems like she is very bad with her money and bad with your money. She lost her home. She's been taking out a lot of debt. It just seems like some really poor choices on her part. So maybe she needs a financial counselor, and maybe she needs someone to put her own money into a trust. So this is a really bad situation again. Anyhow, take care, good luck. Not the jerk, you need a lawyer to unwind this. You need to figure out how much of a line she has been feeding you and how much discretion she has had, and if or when she exceeded her authority. This is not amateur hour lawsuit time. You are going to need a real lawyer. Expect the relationship with her to go down in flames, and if you have been having issues, don't be surprised if she starts playing games with other people's money as well. The best part of this is that generally in these situations where a discretionary trust's authority has overstepped, the trust is generally obligated to cover the legal fees. Get a lawyer, get a good one. This is going to be a fight, OP. But your mom has done you wrong, frankly. That type of behavior is abhorrent. Sue her. His lawyer is going to tell him to file a criminal complaint if they're going to fight this. This seems to happen a lot and gets asked a lot on r/legal advice frequently. Not this case exactly, but parents taking on debt in a kid's name. It's fraud. Speaking of inheritances and trusts, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for insisting that my sister respect my household rules? I'm a 20-year-old female and I live with my partner Mason. I own our house, as I inherited it from my grandpa when he passed. It's nothing fancy, but I'm very proud to be a homeowner at a young age. My partner is a paralegal, so he's also making good money, but I don't ask him to pay anything beyond his half of the grocery budget. I should say that I'm very particular, which Mason respects. I am sensitive to noise and disruption. I keep my space clean and organized, and I have trouble with bad smells. Anyway, my sister Kat, an 18-year-old female, recently moved in with us. She got some body modification that my dad had forbid, and so he kicked her out. We've had tension in the past because my grandpa left the house only to me, but I thought we could try again and bond. Kat is loud and not very self-aware. I don't like music playing in my house, but she refuses to wear headphones. She also likes to eat fish, which stinks up the house. Finally, she video calls her girlfriend very loudly every day. In her defense, the girlfriend is partly deaf, so maybe that's why she feels like she has to be loud. I was on my last nerve when she was eating kimchi last night, and the smell was like roadkill farts. I got really upset and told her to pack her things and leave, or respect the rules of my household. Kat told me that the house should have been hers too, and a 20-year-old and a 23-year-old couple are not a household. After that, Mason intervened and told me to go out for a bit. I got a coffee and calmed down, and when I returned, Mason had explained to Kat that she needed to be more conscientious. I guess it sounded better coming from him, so she said she'd try. Mason thinks that I went overboard and I should try to compromise. I'm not sure, as it is my house and they have to obey my rules. Am I the jerk or am I being unreasonable? And just looking at the OP comments here, I got the house because Kat was estranged from our grandpa. Kat is a very alternative person and grandpa was very old-fashioned. Their values didn't match, basically. All right. So now that we know why Kat didn't get the house, I think that we can start to unwind this a little bit. It seems like the grandfather didn't approve of Kat's lifestyle. Now, I think you're on a bit of a power trip. It seems like you feel very proud of owning this home, which is a big accomplishment, but I mean, you didn't really earn the home, and your sister is right that half of that house should have been hers. And honestly, if I had been in your position, I probably would have given half the house to my sister because it's not her fault that she didn't get the inheritance. And it seems like you are benefiting from her situation and how she has had a conflict with her grandfather. And I think that's really unfortunate that you didn't, see through your grandfather's, I guess, favoritism in this situation and go against it. So, really, I think the fair thing in this situation is to actually give her half your house. To be honest, I mean, maybe people won't agree with me in this situation, but I really think that given that the grandfather didn't give her the house because he didn't agree with her values, sounds pretty distasteful. I don't know what word I'm looking for here. Also, it seems again that you have a little bit of a power trip. You just want to be able to kick her out whenever you want. It makes you feel like you are the authority figure in this household. You didn't even sit down and sounds like and talk with her about what was going on here. You just basically immediately got mad and started telling her she needed to leave. And that's not a really good situation. And that doesn't make a very nice house or home environment. So, yeah, I just don't think that you handled this situation the best that you could have. Maybe your sister wasn't being as conscientious as she could have, especially if you have a sensitivity to smell or a sensitivity to, loud noises. So she does need to, help you if you have some, sensory issues. But again, I think that your knee-jerk reaction here of just trying to kick her out was uncalled for. So yeah, anyhow, take care and good luck. Honestly, it seems like you're the jerk in this situation. Normally, I'd be supportive in enforcing your own rules for a guest in your house, but there are lots of things in this post that suggest to me that you're kind of unbearable to be around. You are a proud homeowner, but you didn't do anything to earn it. You just happened to be not gay and your grandfather left it for you. The fact that you think that this is a justified situation shows a strong lack of empathy and self-reflection. This may have come out further in the comments, I don't know. Your sister was kicked out by her parents, and it seems like you have the attitude of it's her fault because she didn't allow her father to control her body. This attitude is extended to the current situation, where you place the blame entirely on her for not following your unreasonable rules despite being overly overbearing. You say you're a very particular person, but you really just seem to be super controlling and exaggerating of those around you. Mason is a hero for putting up with you. Do you have a medical condition or something? Because fish and kimchi have noticeable smells, but they're not something that would last for hours after eating. Also, describing kimchi as roadkill farts is low-key kind of racist and xenophobic. It also seems like you're following in the footsteps of your dad and grandfather in exerting control over people and leveraging authority granted to you by your unfairly gained capital to manipulate your sister. I'd go with everyone's bad here, but this is one of those situations where your sister might kind of be a jerk, but totally justified because you're a huge pain. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.